In this segment, we're going to compare Venus and Mars, particularly the interiors of Venus and Mars. Let's start with Venus. Like the Earth, Venus has a core, a mantle, and a crust. The core of Venus is expected to be liquid metal. It's believed to be liquid metal, and it's expected to be like Earth's core. And the size of the core is about the same size as Earth's core. And when we say metal for the core, we're generally referring to an iron core. Like the Earth, the mantle of Venus is also expected to be rocky. And like Earth, the mantle is expected to be plastic, or a composition that's a type of plastic. It's very pliable. So like the Earth, the mantle is probably more like a liquid rock or a plastic rock, this composition of bendable rock. And like the Earth, the crust is also very thin, and it's going to be a solid rock. So in general, the composition of the interior of Venus is expected to be similar to the composition of Earth. It's going to have a core, a mantle, and a very thin crust. Now let's look at Mars. Like the Earth and Venus, Mars has a core, a mantle, and a crust. Unlike Earth's thin crust, the crust on Mars is expected to be thick. Now the crust on the surface is mostly iron-rich basalt rock on Mars, and it's very similar to Earth's thin crust. So the composition is generally the same as Earth's. Similarly, the composition of the mantle is going to be what is expected to be something like that of Earth's, mainly some kind of silicate rock. However, on Venus and on Earth, the mantle is expected to be this plastic or pliable or bendable, more like a liquid type rock. Whereas on Mars, it's not expected to be this pliable. It's more expected to be more of a solid type rock. Now the depth of the mantle is not known for sure, and therefore we don't really know the size of the core. But we expect the composition of the core in Mars to be very similar to the composition of the core on Earth, mainly some kind of iron or nickel. Now whether the core is a complete solid or whether it is a hot liquid or a cooled metal, we're not really for sure, we don't really know for sure. And hence you'll see question marks in the interior diagram of the drawing of Mars. So although the composition of the core, mantle, and crust is very similar to that of Earth, the thickness of the crust is expected to be larger on Mars, and the mantle is expected to be not as pliable, expected to be colder on the inside, and most likely the core is more of like a solid iron and nickel instead of a hot liquid iron nickel that's in the interior of Earth's core.